Good morning, everyone. I am in Nara prefecture in Japan. Gonna be eating ramen. What else would I be doing here? And I'm pretty deep in Nara from the looks of things at a station called Yuzaki. And I'm having a style of ramen that is only basically available in Nara, more specifically Tenri in Nara. And really had to travel for this one. Let's go. Hello, hello. You're watching 5 AM Ramen. Mema are brown, Tokoton is white. Eggs should be runny, and ramen is right. I might not be the best ramen poet out there, but I do love my ramen. I'm Frank, I grew up in Tokyo, and I eat a lot of ramen. We're in the middle of a Kyoto Ramen series, and this is the 6th episode in it. But as I mentioned, we're actually in Nara Prefecture today. Nara Prefecture is directly below Kyoto Prefecture. Nara City was Japan's capital from 710 to 794 AD. It's got gorgeous temples and shrines as a result. Today though, we're going a bit deeper than Nara City. Tenri City is Nara Prefecture's 6th largest. Even though it isn't massive, it makes up for it in delicious ramen. Let's go to me on the ground for a second. This is as remote as it gets. I tried to catch a cab, but yeah, no cabs to be found around here. So I'm walking. It's like a 50-minute walk. My bag's pretty heavy, but good exercise. And this is a big reason why I also stay relatively thin. I'm making my way to our first ramen stop, Saika. Basically, I was in a rush the whole day, cramming in 3 bowls within a short period of time in Tenri, and then hustling back to Kyoto immediately after. So I'm actually gonna recap the 3 bowls back in my hotel room in Kyoto. The first and third shops I visited specialized in traditional Tenri ramen. These shops are Saika and Tenri Stamina Ramen. They're similar, but different. We'll get to this in the full recap in a second. The middle shop I visited is called Rikyo, but this bowl was wildly different from the ones at shop 1 and shop 3. It's not a Tenri style ramen. That much is clear just by looking at it. Here's me after a full stomach of ramen, recapping from the comfort of my hotel room in Kyoto. So that was quite an adventure. I think I got a farmer's tan on the way there. 3 bowls and really no time in between. Pretty much just went down to Nara, came right back to Kyoto. And as such, here's the recap on all 3. So the first place, Saika, was a Nara or Tenri style ramen. And I think I'll talk about that place first, along with the third place, just because those were both the same Tenri style. So Saika, it was very much a ramen with a prominent soy sauce flavor. I would say relatively bold. You had that sweetness there, you had that saltiness as well, but not a heavy soup. It was a light soup and with plenty of cabbage or hakusai, Chinese cabbage, giving it a lot of sweetness as well. I love hakusai. It's not something you normally see in ramen, but it was definitely unique. That is what Tenri ramen is all about. And in addition to that, it had a little bit of spiciness too there. Not too much, but just enough to have a bit of, let's say, firework effect in the soup with that soy sauce. In addition to that, you had thin noodles that were pretty classic chukamen, or let's say old style ramen noodles that were relatively full of water. They were also soaking up the soup quite a bit, and big bowls. I was debating whether to get chashu pork or not. I ended up just getting an egg to make it look prettier, but I think classic Tenri ramen is really just gonna have that mountain of cabbage or hakusai. So if we contrast that with the third place, or Tenri Stamina Ramen, this was a heavier bowl. Heavier in that the soup was more murky and cloudy, a little bit more rich, less with that soy sauce flavor. It also had more spice, I feel like, more of those little fireworks going on in the background. Outside of that though, we had a similarly large amount of the hakusai that was everywhere. I decided to add an egg to this one as well. The egg looked like it had been in a fight or something.
Look at these scars.
So it was totally fine. It was just the way that it was prepared. And it was also a very sweet seasoning that they used for the egg. So quite sweet if you were to eat the egg by itself, and very dark brown in color. Outside of that, the noodles were drier at this place, but very similar bowls. If we were to summarize again, Saika, the first place, more about soy sauce, a lighter soup. Second place was with a murkier soup, less about soy sauce, and a little bit spicier, and with drier noodles. Both excellent. I think in Nara, or in Tenri I should say, people might be about one or the other. I'm sure a lot of people go to both of them, but I think you've got your camps also too, where they are all about Saika or Tenri Stamina Ramen. The taxi driver, for example, was all about the first place, Saika. And finally, that middle ramen shop, Rikyo, completely different from those two bowls. Definitely not classic Tenri Ramen. This is something like you might see in Tokyo. It was basically a Jiro-style bowl with a super rich, smooth soup, but less messy than Jiro and less about soy sauce. You did have the soy sauce there, giving the soup a dark brown color, along with the pork bones that they use, but super smooth in flavor. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, you can tell they've spent a lot of time on making that soup, very carefully making that soup, I should say. And also, like Jiro, there were a lot of bean sprouts in it, massively thick, dense noodles to pick up. The twist there was a little bit more of raw onions. But getting back to Jiro, there was a little pile of garlic if you wanted it. But besides the bean sprouts, they also had not Chinese cabbage in there, but regular cabbage. So maybe that makes it a Nara or Tenri style Jiro ramen. Maybe just being in Tenri, they're like, we have to throw cabbage in somewhere. And it actually worked. I like the contrast there with the rich soup, even though the cabbage maybe did make it a little bit more watery. And I have to say, Tenri has some awesome ramen. The city itself might be known primarily for Tenrikyo, or the religion that is from Tenri.
You could make a religion out of this.
But I have to say, Tenri Ramen is excellent. Both the classic Tenri Ramen, first and third place, and some of the more modern stuff they're doing, like the middle place, the second place.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. A heads up, we've recently launched a big digital Kyoto Ramen guidebook. This guidebook can be purchased via the link below, and make sure to use the promo code there for a discount. Even though it's titled Kyoto Ramen Guidebook, we have plenty of Nara ramen shops in there too for you to peruse. Stay tuned for the next episode in this series. We're going back to Kyoto and grabbing ramen with a light show. This might be the most modern ramen experience out there.
But that being said, if you enjoyed this video about Nara, or I should say Tenri Ramen, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope to see you in the next ramen video, Kansai ramen or otherwise. Thanks for watching.